Here we are speaking with local insect expert Jordan Kapiloff, and she's going to tell us a little bit about why climate change is so devastating to the insect community.
Hi, Tony. My name is Jordan. These are a few of my insects that I have worked really hard this semester to collect, and they are very important to our world. So a few things you've got to keep in mind is that humans are warm-blooded and they can adjust to these changes in temperatures really easy, while bugs are ectothermic, meaning they're cold-blooded. So their biological processes are dependent on the temperatures and the climates that they're living in, meaning that if temperature is raising or if the amount of rain is changing, this can affect them really dynamically. It can even cause an entire species to be wiped out. You might be wondering why this is important, and that's because insects are an essential part of our ecosystem, even if you don't think about it all the time because they're small. Except this guy. This guy's not
huge.
small.
No.
And you probably have never seen one of these in real life before, but they're actually really important. And each of these bugs has its own prey or its own predator that's dependent on that bug for survival. And the bug's dependent on its prey for survival. And destroying one of these species by not looking at climate change and not thinking about climate change is going to affect us too.
And once one species starts to go, then it'll be just a horrible chain reaction. What did you call it? Trophic cascade?
Trophic cascade. They're a key role in the trophic cascade because a lot of species are dependent on them for eating them. So if we wipe out bugs, that wipes out the species that are eating them, which wipes out the species that are eating them, and so on, until it eventually would reach us as well. And I don't know about you, but it's really important for me to stay alive.
But I also enjoy living. Jordan?
Anything else? Yeah.
I was just going to say thank you so much for taking time out every day. And
I feel like there's so much more to say, Tony. I know.
we only have 3 minutes. Talk to Dr. Hovell.
What?
It's a very short assignment.
Hey guys. As Jordan explained, the negative effects of climate change on insect populations cannot be underestimated. Populations of many species will dramatically decrease or be forced into higher latitudes or be wiped off the face of the earth entirely. Now, while Jordan's analysis was clear, concise, and thorough, consultation with the proper authorities is always a good idea. There's a lesson for you kids out there. Jordan's warnings have been more or less echoed by scientists globally, and especially those from the USDA Forest Service. In a recent study, specialists from the USDA found that their predictions regarding certain species of bark beetle, quote, suggest a movement of temperature suitability to higher latitudes and elevations, and identified regions with a high potential for bark beetle outbreaks and associated tree mortality in the coming century. Tree mortality. It sounds pretty bad. So simply put, climate change is forcing certain insect species into ecosystems where they're either unsustainable, unwelcome, or both. And like Jordan mentioned, the disruption of insect populations can have far-reaching effects on other organisms, including trees in this case. Another example comes from biologists, not biologists, at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, who found that many larvae, quote, in different geographic populations and species, adapt to local climate via differences in optimal and maximal temperatures for feeding and growth, whereas adults adapt via differences in melanin of the wings and in other morphological traits. So essentially, although adult insects may be able to adapt to withstand the effects of climate change, that's only if they can achieve adulthood, and these adaptations are much more difficult for larvae to make, creating sort of a strain on the insect birth rate, if you will. So at the end of the day, you may not think about insects very much. Like Jordan said, they're small, they're easily crushable. We've all killed them. You've probably killed one today. But they are vitally important to the functioning of this planet, and climate change and the negative effects that it's having on the insect populations around the world is a serious problem that we should not be ignoring. So thanks for listening. I hope you all learned something today, and good luck on your finals.